What's good, everyone, and welcome back to another reaction video. Today we're reacting to is the Mort theory Satire? I don't know if I said that right, in all honesty. Honestly, I probably said it wrong. And I'm not gonna doubt it. But anyway, this was recommended because it was the continuation on the other two. Oh, sorry. Something from earlier came up. Anyway, basically, this is interesting because this is, well, when I was trying to look for the third part, because I remember seeing a third part, I just couldn't find it. I tried looking for something that just seemed like over an hour long, but I couldn't find anything. Then I tried to find something that was 50 to 45 minutes long. Maybe a little under an hour too. Nope. And now we're here. Because this is like the best one that is still like available, possible, all that other stuff. So yeah, honestly kind of interested to see how this would go, but let's see where this takes us. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button down below, hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Hit the notification button to be notified immediately when the video comes out. If there's any videos you'd like to recommend that I should react to, put it down in the comment section below, and I'll react to it as soon as possible. The link to this video is going to be down in the description below, so be sure to give the theorizer some love and support for the video that they made. Now this is a bit strange though. I don't know what the word satire is. It seems different for it. Doesn't make sense to me. But I guess whatever this thing is, it's what Mort is. Or whatever. Or theory is whatever this word means. I don't know. I guess there's only one way to find out, so let's get started, alright?
All the clues pointed to you, but it didn't add up. I thought I was cracking under the pressure. We understand. We understand everything.
What the frick?
This has to be a joke, right? All of this ridiculous 10-hour theory. At this point, my whole channel, it's satire, right? The answer is complicated, whether you're new here or with me 8 years. The truth is, I'm not satirical.
Oh. Okay, so it's a
I'm not joking, but I'm also not insane. I'm not saying I'm right. That would be stupid, but it would also be stupid to suggest that I'm exactly wrong. I am intentionally skirting the line of absurdity because I can. I am fully aware of my exaggerated analysis. I include director statements and use the word theory. That's not to say the creators actually intend what they've done. The whole madness I end up spewing. I'm simply delving headfirst into the fiction and the stories, and turning over random stones to fill plot holes with what we know. I sound insane because the depth I'm going to is ridiculous. Longtime viewers know this. New viewers are about to get a full face of it. At the same time, it's not to say the creators don't intend secrets in their movies. It would just often require so much effort that it makes no sense for them to care or focus on this, so sometimes my evidence reaches when trying to solve mysteries. But it's only because I'm including everything I spot, good and bad. The internal logic is mostly sound. Not always, but coherence is a top priority. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a character within the world that I'm discussing, taking everything dead seriously. I I certainly give off the conspiracy vibe when recording because I'm intermittently psychotic. It's fascinating to me, though, that sometimes creators do intend stuff, like mystery shows, where bored animators will do things, drop neat little hints, and I'll tear into those too. And when they don't keep track of their lore, they accidentally flood massive correlations, plot holes, and narrative similarities within their stories, which I suck dry. So this Mort theory is insane, but I have standards. Someone has to dive headfirst into these worlds and tear them to pieces. Well, no, they don't. But someone chooses to, and that person is me. God help any real mystery that faces me. And so what is the probability that DreamWorks actually intended every single one of their properties to be connected in one massive timeline of events centered around Mort the Lemur? The probability is slim, but not so when you consider the reality. This is all a theory on the Netflix show. Here's a little taste for those unaware.
I have a drinking problem. I'm a fugitive on the run from an evil dictator, so I don't have time for this. Open the freaking door!
These creators went to absurd depths as a joke and made it all coherent because they were bored. I am suggesting that these lunatic writers took a bunch of recurring DreamWorks gags and, consciously or not, built it so the gags all got explanations. These patterns continue to this day. For example, DreamWorks finds French villains funny. They make tons of films about animals versus humans, and they have a thing with magical musical comedy, probably despite Disney. These gags get way too close for comfort in All Hail King Julian, and that is why I'm doing this, finding every single instance of these gags in the show and in all other DreamWorks properties to make all possibly conceivable connections, and then where we are now, filling all of the plot holes and errors that this monstrous narrative would create. It's just so difficult, because there is no way they could have intended all of this, and yet the parallels we've covered so far are so unimaginably consistent, it almost seems like they did it subconsciously, took jokes and made lore, but almost didn't realize it. So let's prove that there are no holes, only incomplete explanations. What is Mort theory? The ultimate DreamWorks shared universe timeline. Join me in part 28. Part 1 set up everything and looked at Mort's few scenes from the Madagascar films. Parts 2 to 4 binged all of the spin-off prequel and noted every single Mort fact, much to my shock, because that show is disturbed and the comedy's freakishly self-aware and mature. Part 5 covered the other spin-off shows so I could come to some conclusion.
I mean, not wrong. That is a lot of stuff to say about Mort. Like, a lot. Like, I'm still surprised by the connections that can be offhandly said when Mort mentioned all that, but I'm still confused on, like, the whole, grand timeline of things. Like, I'm confused on the grand thing. I really do want to hear the thoughts
About what Mort really is, because the ultimate implication is that I shit you not. Part 6. Mort is the Grim Reaper himself, who was locked in a battle with elder gods, so they fractured him across the multiverse in the Big Bang, and he spent eons trying to reabsorb his parts to return to full form and take back reality, which all seems to be his lucid dream. The main Mort lemur we see is the most evolved fragment, but even he had to erase some of his memory to protect his identity. This is all in the show, and it's f***ing crazy. Once I realized that the Mort narrative has been drawing from all other DreamWorks patterns, I had no choice but to drag in my many theories on other DreamWorks movies, so parts 7 to 14 are all theories on Shrek, which is kind of the origin and core of DreamWorks. We got a timeline, villain backstories, and determined that talking animals and fairy tale creatures are the central focus of Mort's master plan, all of whom are battling humans for dominant intelligence. In parts 15 and 16, I dragged in Over the Hedge and the humans of Madagascar, granting bombshell number 2. There are human cults out to repel animal intelligence. And in part 17, I linked it all back to Mort to finally reveal that all of these cults are the same organization. A massive syndicate created by the gods that fractured Mort, who manipulate humanity into devolving animal intelligence. Mort's been spurring animal intelligence so he can de-energize the gods' power by suffocating their ability to be worshipped by the humans they created. This cult includes almost every single DreamWorks villain, and is based out of France, powered by music. This should all sound very DreamWorksy, even if you've never considered it. So, parts 18 to 20 were my older Megamind theories, when I bring in the aliens, the wild card, and more humans who suppressed them too, and then parts 21 to 23 were godlike, legendary, where I scanned every single last microscopic detail of every DreamWorks film to find how every character and every...
So that's the parts that I miss. After this, I'm gonna have to go back and try to find those videos, because I had no luck in finding them. Like, I found everything else, but I couldn't find those three. Maybe I overlooked it by accident, or something else, but I don't know.
every link ties into a massive storyline, and how the timeline has actually progressed during this war between humans and animals. I even dragged back in my oldest DreamWorks theories, finally dropping a recap and completing the connections with the last part a year ago. We've looked at every possible outcome. I think the whole timeline is actually backwards. Both Mort and the gods are evil and power-hungry, the innocents are locked in the middle, the timeline is backwards, so humans are devolving into extinction. Kung Fu Panda's at the end, where Mort is victorious with an animal-only world, ruling over his canon existence once again, having destroyed the gods that he once created. As the embodiment of death, most actively comparable to Kronos from Greek mythology, all stated over 26 and a half parts, 8 hours, 3 compilations that function as literal movies, which are now infamous on the internet from thumbnails alone. So you're caught up. You know my intentions. You know my rationale. Here's the holes.
The logical
Is it
segments.
future, or is it past? Is the timeline forwards, or is it backwards? Is Shrek medieval humanity, or is it a sad glimpse at a degrading future? This has plagued me, and I officially claim that it is both. Some movies seem to imply that they're in the past, like those with medieval or prehistoric or obviously time travel, but others then suddenly display things like the royal family and Hollywood in Shrek, which makes no sense unless it takes place in a very dystopian, degraded future. Kung Fu Panda has only animals in it, but they use a Chinese culture that was human, and it's filled with magic and stuff. What are the morals? What connects Mort to the animals? And if Mort's degraded the actual Hollywood that's been making his films into a fairy tale dystopia to fit his narrative, I present the one, the only, official DreamWorks timeline. Mort appears billions of years ago and creates the Sky Gods. After eons of peace, Mort grows tired of their presence and starts eating them. To preserve their existence, the few remaining gods rebel against him and use his own powers to shatter him across reality into trillions of separate pocket universes. He spends billions of years trying to fuse himself back together through the fabric of space-time, while the gods take over the multiverse and focus in on one particular galaxy where they create Earth, animals, and humanity itself. The humans start to evolve and worship the gods, while Mort infiltrates the minds of all other animals to counteract this. In a major hurdle to taking back control, 2 enormous fragments battle for supremacy: Smart Mort and Mordecus Khan. Smart Mort loses, receding into a mouse lemur to recover by birthing himself into a family of clones on the island of Madagascar, with all other fragments doing similarly. He wipes his memory and his intelligence, redistributing it to all of the animals of the world, so they can take down the humans whose existence is dedicated to worshipping the gods and powering them up with the creative energy of music, comedy, and anything generative, in contrast to Mort's destruction. The gods take serious action and assimilate the France-established exterminator Terminators to wage war on Madagascar. This is now when most of the DreamWorks movies...
In all honesty, I'm more concerned about the editing used here. The fact that it keeps showing the Grim Reaper, honestly, is a big concern. Like, a very, very big concern. Because one does not just show the Grim Reaper in that kind of way just to do whatnot and all that. Honestly, it just shows something really concerning, at least in my personal opinion. So, yeah.
Movies happen the present day. Mort's power is growing, and the animals evolve further, slowly defeating the humans who are regressing into lesser forms, before one particularly stupid human becomes leader of the world and triggers a nuclear catastrophe while trying to order a coffee. Aliens take this as their opportunity to descend upon the annihilated world, and the animals take over the ruined landscape while humans mutate into monsters and fairy tale creatures in Mort's vision. Given a few centuries, humans completely die off, suffocating the gods' power and allowing the animals to obliterate them to take over the universe and achieve spiritual transcendence in Kung Fu Panda. With every universe merging back into the one, Mort soon becomes a whole entity once again. And then the end of days. The raw, absolute apocalypse occurs, destroying every spirit, every animal. Every corner of existence flays away into a singularity hellscape as Mort wakes up from the whole thing and DreamWorks ceases to exist. That is the story. But it's not the whole story. We have to plot all of the films. We have to plot all of the characters, the details, and make it real. And I can only imagine the revelations yet to come from this. Right. The battle plan. Given that this is bigger than my original Pixar dissertation, for example, we will need many more graphics to organize this logic. Timeline, of course, but also an alignment tree, a massive pool of characters overlapping with their respective properties, a global map, an intergalactic map, an extremely detailed web of evidence from the connection segments threading across everything, all of the evidence and counter-evidence from All Hail King Julian that
so that's the issue now. You need more visual and key points that could connect all the films together. Something that, I don't know, either reference one film to another, or like you show this character in another film, basically. At least that's what I'm understanding here. I might be wrong, but that seems to be the case here, at the very least.
you submit under this very video, and 100,000 milligrams of antipsychotics. The list of shit to work with has become clear. Regardless of their intent, the canon is the canon, and we're classifying what we can. So, within reason, and in lieu of my late abstination from the Julia Netflix show, I will allow the inclusion of every single DreamWorks property. By priority, we have this. All Hail King Julian is the top. Prioritize this 100% of the time. This is the raw theory. This is critical. Maybe I'll work through some of it again. Second tier priority is the Madagascar trilogy and the Penguins content, both series and film. Third tier priority is every single DreamWorks main film, as in the 3D animated canon. Here's a current list. When needed, absolutely place the original content over the adapted content at your discretion. There is overlap. Fourth tier priority is every single other bonus DreamWorks spin-off show and all of the 2D or claymation films they had a hand in developing. This is the ordered set. Be mindful. We have the base, we have the extension, we have the lore of DreamWorks. But even though today is just the first logic segment where I'm explaining myself and building, I can still tentatively plot the top tiers of the films. Ants, Madagascar, Over the Hedge, the B-movie Monsters vs. Aliens, Megamind, Rise of the Guardians, Turbo the Boss Baby, Captain Underpants, and I think that new Orion movie are all taking place, now. Let's say the year 2000 on average, but give or take a bunch. The bad guys, Mr. Peabody and Sherman's present, and presumably Ruby Gilman, take place shortly into the acceptance of animal intelligence where humans are slowly submitting. This is when I think the nukes go
Okay.
off. Next up then is Shark Tale, Shrek, and Home, all of which take place well into the de-evolution of humanity, probably starting with Home. Kung Fu Panda is far at the end. Again, I can get specific later, but there is a lack of clarity on 3 topics right now. How to Train Your Dragon, the Croods, and Trolls. How to Train Your Dragon could tell the story of dragons devolving and spurring animal anger before humans rose up, or it could be dragons rising after humans start going down. Hierarchy. Training is in the title. The Croods is very suspect because it centers around cave people, but smart humans at the same time, like it's teasing us. Trolls seems to be, without exaggeration, a self-proclaimed musical magic-filled world, so for now I'm going to assume it's what happened to America while China got the Kung Fu Panda treatment. I should note, I still haven't watched many of these. I'm a godforsaken lunatic at this point. Comment your opinion on Croods and Dragons placements as well as spin-offs and non-3D animation. Our pool of footmen subgroups are Dubois and the Dwayne Academy, the Alien Anomalies, Rumpelstiltskin and his gang of Shrekkers, Alice in the Central Park Zoo, the Boss Baby Group in the Literal Skies, and last but not least, President Hathaway with the General, Warden, Metro Mayor, and Montgomery Esquire heading the U.S. government. And do, of course, again, drop your questions below. Make massive lists of the unanswered. I will assimilate them to the best of my ability, because it's the most important method we have of logically flattening this out. List it, every single question. Like, is Oogway Vern? What is Dubois' family tree? I need linchpins. And I mean, we're on logic now, but still I'm finding connections. Like, I recently concluded Dubois is becoming an animal, Jack Horner is a 12-year-old, he's also Butterpants mutated, Frank Rala literally translates to French paradise, aka heaven, Death's whistle is the anti-music, the aliens in Home are controlled by music, Donkey and Dragon were made for each other by the fairy godmother, and... Are you ready for this? I found him.
Ooh.
I found him. We've been looking for eons and found the original Mort, the whole Mort, the true entity, this demonic force of amoral destruction. I got him. The gods are represented by fruit, and Mort would be no exception. Mort's true, completed self is shown expressly in the show. I had a breakdown realizing this because I returned to the show for merely 1 episode. 1. And everything I've been saying came full circle. Isn't that simply insane? Julian and the gang have a beach where I guess the sky gods send them tons of supplies from the mainland, and in this season 5 episode, a bunch of nuclear fertilizer washes ashore, and the show jarringly lists its ingredients. They try to use it on their agriculture, and it starts raining mangoes from the sky. How godly. Later, though, they all coalesce and melt themselves back together into one giant, extremely creepy, bloodthirsty godlike, soft-spoken super genius mango that tries, I shit you not, devouring everyone's souls. It then makes a beeline for the mainland to destroy humanity, while Julian claims they'll be the only intelligent life left. They managed to get a hold of Sunshine Farms, the organization that made the fertilizer they found, and it seems to be a Feet asset, note the sunshine, and not seconds later, they nuke it in the center of the ocean, and the episode ends with a horrific, the end, question mark. Well, there was no follow-up episode. All the other teases got follow-ups. This one didn't, because this is it, the whole story, laid bare. How I haven't remembered this until now, I don't know. How I watched 1 episode of the show again and got all the answers, I don't know. But I do know this. The show's aware of what it's done, and that is terrifying beyond measure. This is Mort. This is the destiny of DreamWorks, and what fates the end of the timeline. Strange that there aren't other nuclear bombs going off when this fertilizer gets used, only when it happens in Madagascar. I wonder why. Oh, people, it's because Mort barfed into the supply! This was him! Any episode I watch confirms this further. There is not even one instance where my theories on this show are debunked, but rather excessively, painfully. They are traumatically proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, and every time I watch another episode, it all becomes more real. This is why I've abstained from it. I am doomed. We are doomed, and I have to return to it. Of course, join my Patreon to spur this faster and subscribe, because this was the setup for the next dozen logic segments. This is going to get really big, really quick, but we have a full picture of what we're working with, and it's beyond anything, any story ever told. And the painful irony is, the creators of All Hail King Julian are the sort of people that would actively confirm all of this just because they can. Ooh, and the extra special thanks to
Okay, yeah. Not gonna lie, that actually gave me a bit of chills at the end there. I mean, that was something to yeah, yeah. Um so that's a thing. And hmm, yeah, I'm a little nervous now because of that detail. So that's a yeah. Um I hope you all enjoyed this video. Honestly, I do not know how to take all this information in, because it's a lot. Like, I wasn't expecting to hear, like, in Madagascar, in King Julian, the divine is like a fruit, or can take possession of a fruit, and Mort's fruit is literally a mango. So that's crazy. But yeah, it also fits with this whole theory, which is actually really crazy now that I think about it. So yeah, this is something. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button below, hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Honestly, I'm um a little stunned by this information, but it does seem like it makes sense. Though I am confused about these three films, like why they don't connect. I mean, sure, with the Groots, it's good to question that one, but for Trolls and um, actually Trolls don't. Well, they don't really have humans in them, do they? I I haven't seen Trolls, so I can't really say. But I've seen How to Train Your Dragon and Croods. But yeah, hmm. Now this is actually getting me confused. But so far, we get the timeline. Uh, Mort was defeated. He um was going to kill all the I mean, end all the divine beings. Yes, that uh that was going to be the case. And then bam, got separated. Multiverse was made. Led to a bunch of other stuff, bunch of stories. With within the shadows is a fight between um Mort and these deities to see who can overpower who first before Mort can regain his full power. At least that's what seems to be the case. I'm not gonna lie, it honestly is going way out of proportion that it's honestly stunning me. It's crazy. Anyway, with this said though, I hope you all enjoyed this video. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.